Local Women Magazine presents Local Women Podcast, the show for things that matter.
Hi and welcome to Local Women Podcast. Today is our health podcast and I'm joined by Lisa Peacocke, who is a clinical hypnotherapist. This is going to be interesting. I've got so many questions. What actually is a clinical hypnotherapist?
So hypnotherapy is actually a natural state that we're all in and out of every single day. But clinical hypnotherapy is actually harnessing that state where you're nice and relaxed and your brain can really focus. So you're in a focused state of awareness where you can actually make changes that you want to make in your life. So for example, if you're dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety, you can really learn to calm all of that down. If you're dealing with a lack of confidence and self-esteem, you can really start to believe in yourself. If you're dealing with sort of habits and things like that, we can address all of that in the therapeutic setting. So you're fully in control, but it's a natural state that we can harness to help you move forward.
And so what made you go into hypnotherapy?
Yes, this is an interesting question. So I was actually working for a corporate company at the time, I'm going to say about 7-8 years ago. And my role was to actually go into theatres to programme spinal cord stimulators for chronic pain patients. Okay. So I was working in the whole island of Ireland with the top pain consultants. And the doctor in particular, Dr. Oleg Alinsky, he works out of the Dublin Pain Clinic. And he said to me, he said, do you know anyone that does hypnotherapy? And I was like, well, is that not a bit woo-woo? Because I really didn't know much about it. And he said, no, it's absolutely fantastic to help chronic pain patients deal with their pain. Now, because I respected him so much and he's so knowledgeable and, you know, so intelligent, I thought, I'm going to look into this. And I did. And I was really, really thankful that I did. So I trained in it. And I was able to obviously go on and use it in my own life. So that's kind of how it all happened.
Lovely. The services that you offer, I know we've talked off air that you're based in Lisbon, but you can be worldwide, obviously. Yeah. So what services do you actually offer?
Yeah, so just on that, hypnotherapy can be done either in person or via Zoom. As long as you are able to hear me and hear my voice, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. So the services that I offer is I help people with dealing with stress and anxiety, depression, trauma, sleep and insomnia, dealing with chronic pain to help manage that as well. A big thing at the minute is addictions.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, up here at the minute, there's a lot of cocaine addiction right now as well.
Yeah. Dealing
with any kind of negative habits such as smoking and vaping, nail biting, all of the usual things, fears, phobias, so fears of flying, and then helping people look at where they want to go. So for example, performance. So getting people to visualize what it is that they want to achieve and helping them get there really, really quickly. So using it for the real benefit of helping people move forward in their life.
It's such, I mean, that's really wide, isn't it?
Yeah.
And do people self-refer to you, or are they referred via their GP, or what is the referral system?
Yeah, so I have a website and there is a contact page on there that people can access. I have also, all my stuff's on Google and I do social media as well. But I do get referrals from pain clinics and things like that as well. So people can either self-refer or they can actually be referred depending on who's referring to me as well. And so
is it a course of therapy or is it a one treatment or?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. So for some people, if they are open and receptive and we're dealing with something like an acute stress or even a fear, quite often that can be dealt with in just one session. And then if we move into something that's been a bit more of a habit that's been ingrained over a period of time, then it can take a few more sessions. But everything in hypnotherapy is really, really quick. So even if I'm dealing with somebody who has struggled with weight, usually the maximum number of sessions is going to be 3 or 4 sessions. Mm-hmm. Because once we work with the subconscious mind, the change is really, really quick.
So I suppose I'm going to ask like a listener. So when you say work with the subconscious mind, so do we have a conversation? Do I have to fill out a consultation form? I suppose we've spoke off air. I'm probably, I've tried to be hypnotized before and obviously I haven't been. But then my personality type is definitely I'm in control, you know, and I don't probably let myself go very easy. There's only a very small group of people would see, you know, and then that's just how I am as a person. So I know I would be a more difficult candidate. Yeah. You know, I'm very closed, probably.
Yeah, so we have, first of all, we have two parts to the mind. We have our conscious part, which is 10%, and that's the part that we're all trying to use every single day to make changes in our life.
Right.
Moving us from a place of pain or something that we don't want to do anymore, and then trying to move to a place where that no longer exists. It's really, really hard. But we have this huge part, the 90% subconscious part, and that's where all the patterns of our behavior, how we think, how we behave, and how we feel are all set. And they're generally set there before the age of 7 as well.
Right.
So between 0 and 7, we're in what we call the imprint stage. We're taking in everybody else's view of the world around us. So your parents, caregivers, teachers, whoever was around you in those formative years. And we take in their patterns and we think they're our own. Now, some of these patterns are really, really positive for us and some are really, really negative for us, but your brain doesn't actually know the difference. Its job is to get you through life from the day you're born to the day you die as quickly and effortlessly as possible. And it doesn't like change.
Yeah.
So what I look at hypnosis as, it's almost like your mobile phone. We sometimes plug it in and upgrade it. It's like almost plugging your brain in and upgrading those programs so we can get rid of the ones that no longer serve you and put in the ones that really, really do, and focus on the positives to move you forward so you can actually enjoy the rest of the journey of life. And when you mention about, being in control, so nobody can actually do anything to you in hypnosis. Your subconscious mind will only allow you to make the changes that you want to make at the rate that you're ready to make them. And
Okay.
we're all in and out of hypnosis all the time. So as I mentioned to you, Emma, when you're driving your car and you might be thinking about loads of other things that are happening in your life or even later on that day, you're not really concentrating on the journey. So that's actually a hypnotic state. Another time people would be in and out of it is when they're actually in a daydream.
Mm-hmm.
Find yourself daydreaming or even watching TV or playing video games. So that's actually a hypnotic state as well. It's like a focused state of awareness. And that's whenever your subconscious mind is then online and can actually make changes. So what we do is in the hypnotherapy session is harness that state. So your body's relaxed, but your mind is hyper-focused and in a state of focused awareness to then help you make the changes that you're ready to make. So as a hypnotherapist, I don't do anything to a client. I help them facilitate the change that they want to make really, really quickly. So when somebody comes to me and says, I don't think I can be hypnotized, you're fully in control. I can't do anything unless you're ready to embrace that. I guess opening your mind to look at possibilities of what could be as opposed to me doing anything to you. So hypnosis is really about you, I guess, unlocking the parts of you that are already there and enabling you to realize that it's actually safe to do that and trust yourself to do that as well.
I think that's really interesting. I suppose a lot of people would only know about like the fun, where, the entertainment value of hypnosis, or when you've gone to weddings and you've been hypnotized or gone to shows. So the therapeutic part of it, it's probably, it's good to have this conversation, to sort of like answer the questions that maybe people are listening thinking, God, well, I can't be hypnotized, but I'd love to go, or I'd like to address my weight, or I'd like to address smoking or other addictions. I think that's really, really powerful. Yeah. Because I know I have never been. I know my friends have been around me, but I do know my personality type. And it's probably, I've sat there and thought, well, you're not going to get me, which is just what you've said. You can't do anything to them that you don't want to be done. Yeah.
And I think that's a really good point, Emma. The main difference about, a stage show, for example, which is for entertainment purposes. And as I mentioned to you earlier, that people are highly suggestible in that state. They're ready to have a bit of fun, and they know that they're maybe going to be acting a little bit silly, but they're actually okay to do that. Their subconscious mind is telling them it's a bit of fun, we're safe, and it's for entertainment purposes. Yeah. Whereas when we're in hypnosis for a therapeutic sense, then what we're doing is we're actually harnessing the same state, but it's to make the changes that people are ready to make really quickly.
Yeah, and I know years ago, Mummy did it for smoking, and it was fantastic. It was really successful, So I've got great faith in it. Yeah. And so, if people want to get in touch with you via social media, or do they just reach out and fill out your contact form?
Yeah, so I have a website with a contact form, which is www.b-a-better-u.co.uk. So there's dashes between every word. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the site without those.
Right.
And Lisa Peacocke Hypnotherapy and Coaching is all online as well.
That's perfect, because I'm sure after listening to this, there'll be lots of people wanting to get in touch and ask you lots of questions. you have a success story that's one of your favourites that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I do actually. There was a young guy came to me, so he was 22 and he was going to England the following week for an interview. So it was with the same company, but he wanted to progress.
Yeah.
He didn't give me much time to get him fitted in, but we managed to get him in on the Friday afternoon and he was flying off on the Monday. And he had a really bad stutter. And he had the stutter since he was 3 years old. He'd actually been electrocuted.
Right.
And in that one session, he was able to leave the stutter behind and move forward. And he went over to the interview in England, got the new position. But the biggest thing for me was his confidence, knowing that he had the ability to make that change really, really quickly. So that is probably the one that has really touched my heart most, just because I have a child who's 21 as well, so similar age. And it was such a big difference for him in his life to move forward and leave that stutter behind.
And as you said, you got him fitted in. Is there a waiting list for you?
So when people contact me, it's usually about a 3 to 4 week kind of waiting period, just to get in. But I'll try, if somebody's in real distress, I'll try and get them in as quickly as I can.
Like an emergency, or that's lovely to know. I think for me, this is like a new field for me, I suppose. And I've done a little bit of reading, obviously, since we messaged each other. And I think it's definitely, for the pain management point of view, I suppose I'm coming from a medical, so we're always the skeptics, and we're, but to hear about the pain management is phenomenal. From a pain management point of view, how many sessions roughly? I know we said it depends on the individuals, or do you assess their pain, or how does that work?
So when somebody comes to me with pain, and I'll go back to my own story about that in a minute as well, I do like the intake session, and that's learning about, their level of pain. I usually give them a scale of 0 to 10, what they've been doing to help themselves, and obviously how long they've had the pain for. That's going to give me a lot of information. So as we go through the consent form, there's going to be information that they'll be giving me as we gather that's going to help with the session. And usually for most people dealing with chronic pain, it's 2 sessions.
It's 2?
Yes.
Right, okay.
The reason is that we can actually use something in hypnosis, which is like almost like, imagine a dial in your brain, and say it's at 10 where their pain level is. We can actually use the power of your subconscious mind to turn that dial right down to a level that they're comfortable with really quickly.
Right.
Because we can visualize that. The other thing that we do is, quite often when people have chronic pain, is there's going to have been sort of, if I say the word trauma, I don't necessarily mean bad things that have happened, but we can see things as trauma through the eyes of a 3-year-old.
Yes.
For example, a loud bang could give you a trauma. But things in the past that have actually held them back and caused them to feel that chronic pain more intensely.
Yeah.
And we can deal with all of that stuff and let go of it in the hypnosis. And once we do that, it frees them up to move forward, and it lets go of that weight of the chronic pain. So what I find is that usually most people don't need more than 2 sessions in order to move forward.
Oh, I think that's really powerful. And I think anybody that's listening that's in chronic pain can relate to that. I mean, 2 sessions. I was expecting you to say maybe over a 6-week period or longer.
What I tend to do is we'll do the first session. I will give them a couple of recordings to listen to between that session and the next session, which is usually 2 weeks later. That gives the subconscious mind time to make the changes that it needs to make. Then we do the second session where we'll do more clearing, and then really put in the positive stuff for moving forward. I do something called the corridor of transformation.
Right.
And that really gets clients to focus on where they're going in the future as opposed to what they're leaving behind in the past. So it's just a great metaphor for people's subconscious mind to liken into and really help them to move forward quickly. I did touch upon my own journey with pain. So I actually had breast cancer 4.5 years ago. And when I went through that journey with chemotherapy, I was left with my own pain.
Yes.
So I'm actually coming at this not from a textbook, but actually my own personal experience. And I was able to use hypnotherapy to help me with all of that.
That's
to help me move forward myself. So that, I guess, that really kind of aligns with the clients that I'm getting as well.
So you have your empathy as well, which makes you a far superior clinician, shall we say?
Yeah.
And my own mum has had breast cancer as well. So it's a very difficult journey.
Yeah.
And you look fantastic, and you're keeping well.
Yeah, really
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. So I suppose I've asked that question because I have a personal interest in the chronic pain as well. So I might be talking to you off air as well. Yeah, definitely. So listeners, if you want to get in touch with Lisa Peacocke, reach out, and we'll also be tagging you in the podcast as well. I want to thank you so much for coming in and for sharing both of your personal stories and your fantastic career. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you.
Local Women Magazine presents Local Women Podcast, the show for things that matter.